Trump versus Musk. It has literally just made the market have a wobble. Bitcoin's down $1 billion in longs, pretty much wiped out. And that's without going into ETF filings. Yeah, you're not dreaming. This week of cryptocurrency has become a little bit chaotic. But here's the thing. It's not just noise. It is actually moving markets in quite a big way, and it could get worse. So if you want some real straight talking analysis, hit that like button and leave a comment. Do you support Trump or do you support Musk? So the first thing we want to talk about is obviously Trump versus Musk. The feud, the impact on obviously Tesla stock, the public sentiment of this in the cryptocurrency market alone is a bit of an issue. This is big money fighting against each other. Now, obviously, Bitcoin has dropped. It dropped down 2-3% yesterday. Nearly $1 billion worth of cryptocurrency has been liquidated, affecting more than 220,000 traders. We'll talk about that in more detail in a second. But what is very interesting, this is creating a bit of an issue, and it's creating a bit of a problem, especially in public, right? I'm not going to put the tweets up there, but there was some expo, so to speak, from Musk with some real big fight in them. And that's where we have a bit of an issue. This could become pretty ugly when you think about main man of X versus Donald Trump, right? So that's kind of important to note. What is interesting though, and we talk about obviously other bits and pieces, renewed US-China trade tensions, that could be a problem with volatility, obviously. Obviously the feud itself, obviously. But the reality is here, this is why the markets have turned to shit, and we will talk about it in more detail. So just keep an eye on that part. Now, another thing as well is the stable currency giant Circle shares surge in blowout New York stock market debut. So this is interesting. Now, if you don't know this, these are basically the backers of USDC. It could get very, very interesting where it goes, but the prices rose as much as $103. So this is good in terms of public domain, but we'll see where it goes. Do we still see likes of Tether on top, or is it going to be USDC? They have raised a lot of money, and its IPO has been pretty successful currently. However, it has been just a little bit overshadowed, hasn't it? Now we could argue we're living in a simulation. Oh, Donald Trump, we're going back to him again, but this is one of the biggest pivots ever. Let's be honest here. Calling Bitcoin a scam to then, therefore, be politically empowered to then, therefore, give us a potential ETF based off his Truth Social platform, so to speak. So yeah, this could be fun. Keep an eye on it. Yeah, I know. So back to the liquidations. Almost $1 billion was thrown out of the market, so to speak. When you look at this in the grand scheme of things, late longs getting punished as per. And this wasn't so much a technical move, it was just a reaction, and leverage has been wiped out. Same pattern, fear, whatever. But in that thing we talk about in terms of market psychology and fear, we were looking at my YouTube channel the last couple of videos. Go back and look at my YouTube channel, look at the comments, look at the fear, because I changed my bias. Now this has happened based off news and events which we cannot control. But the market was already kind of turning a little bit. It kind of was getting washed. Altcoins were getting worse. Bitcoin was correcting. People were getting a bit skittish. There was people getting liquidated openly. You know, that James trader fella. And yeah, this is the same situation we find ourselves in now. It has came to fruition. There's a link below. This is my new channel. I'm going to be doing some UK-based investing sort of stuff. ISA tips, dividend invested, personal finance, all for the UK. I've done it in the past on this channel. It didn't really work out because it's a crypto channel, but I'm going to do it here separately. So this is what's happened. This is a 1 hour time frame. You can see like the whole fallout, and we went towards that $100,000 level. Now, I've been talking quite openly about the $102,000 level for Bitcoin being very, very important. However, the 1 hour time frame is looking interesting, but the daily time frame is probably where we need to be. And this could well be just the correction back up to levels of resistance, and then we may roll over into towards this $98,000 to $100,000 level. Right now, it's looking very, very tasty. But let's talk about the bigger picture, because I think one of the biggest things we need to be wary of is obviously the S&P 500. This is currently where we are. We are still at somewhat levels of resistance, risk on / risk off sentiment. You know, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell right now. It's kind of hard to judge. Where do we go from here? Right now, we could be just staying here for now. But today is a new day. We have got a weekend coming. There may be some interesting things thrown about today, so be mindful of that. The other thing we need to mention, obviously, stable currency dominance went up pretty high. That would indicate risk off, certainly with crypto, and money has been rotated out a little bit, hence why things have dropped. More importantly, the liquidation data, and may well just chill out for a little bit. People in the markets do not like uncertainty. Just be wary of that. And to add fuel to the fire, so to speak, altcoins, just more pain. No alt season, just pain. I'll keep it short and sweet, but Bitcoin losing a couple of percentages equaled altcoins losing even more. That's a bit of an issue. Stable currency dominance, as I just alluded to it, going up. That's a problem as well. So we need to be very, very, very mindful of that. I was on a Learning Crypto live stream this morning, talking about alt seasons and altcoins and stuff like that, and giving you my overall opinion. This is me currently in a trade. I took a bit off the table here. But the overall situation is these uptrends, so to speak, are very low, very small, very shallow. And they're not giving people enough momentum to get into the market and somewhat leading to the fallout, which is what we get. That's where the problem lies. And we talk about previous cycles and talk about time and the data, and this is one of the biggest, longest periods that we've ever had in its history of Bitcoin dominance, rising without any big, massive fall off. That is where we are. This is what the problem lies. And when we talk about the geopolitical bollocks that we've got to kind of comprehend every single day between FOMC data, CPI data, rate cuts, what Jerome Powell's saying and what cereal he's eating every single day, it becomes a bit of an issue. And then we talk about other things that are doing really well in the markets versus altcoins. Look at silver. Silver's decided to go on a little bit of a run right now. Gold is still relatively high. There's still a little bit of fear there. So yeah, that situation, bit of an issue. And if you're trying to make sense of all this, you can jump into my Patreon. I do a lot more extra videos, certainly the technicals, my trade positions, my journal, whatever, chats as well. The chat is really, really awesome. But yeah, this market is rather wild. There's all kinds happening, from obviously political data and bullshit to ETF filings from a person that hated cryptocurrency to liquidations of billions of dollars. So yeah, let me know your thoughts below, what you think. But right now, are you buying the dip or are you just watching the fireworks? Because right now, it's certainly getting interesting.